Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to actually be a news show, not a tech demo that looks like a news show.
Yeah, there's some footage of Witcher 4 circulating out there that looks an awful lot like gameplay, but it's not yet. We've been through this a couple times, right? People get their hopes up and then they get a little shattered, so we just want to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Guard your hearts. We're looking at tech footage, not gameplay just yet. That said, it looks really, really good.
It looks great. All right, so we got a deeper look at CD Projekt's The Witcher 4 today as part of Epic Games' The State of Unreal presentation, highlighting Unreal Engine 5.6.
CD Projekt was there. If you'll recall, CD Projekt is switching from their internally developed Red engine to Unreal for The Witcher 4 and Cyberpunk 2.
Yeah, a 2-minute cinematic depicts a manticore attacking a supply wagon. It's pretty cool and reinforces that even in series time, this is still a dangerous setting.
Plenty of monsters to hunt. At the end of the cinematic, our titular Witcher Ciri discovers the wreckage and takes a coin as evidence of her being there.
Very excited for this. But it's a tech demo, not a video game, all right? So this reveals a few more details, but also comes with a caveat. Despite showing a picture-in-picture of a player controlling the demo, which is odd, CD Projekt confirmed to Video Games Chronicle that this isn't Witcher 4 gameplay, but a tech demo set in Witcher 4's world.
Yeah, but there's still a lot to get excited about here. This is a tech demo that they say is running on a base PlayStation 5 at 60 FPS with ray tracing, and it's got a ton of bells and whistles, and it looks phenomenal.
Caveats aside, Witcher 4 will take place in the densely forested and mountainous Corvair region.
Ciri, of course, has a horse named Kelpie. Yay! We're going to be good friends with Kelpie over the course of this game.
And you can see Kelpie's muscles flexing and rippling. I wonder if his balls shrink like in Red Dead. This is all due to Unreal's machine learning enabled rendering.
Yes, they trained a bunch of machines to see horses. God, this is the world we live in now. I love it. And speaking of living in the future, they also showed off a technology called nanite foliage. Oh, man. No flying cars, but we got nanite foliage and machine-learned horses.
Oh, man. They demonstrated another new foliage rendering tech. Boy, oh boy. Just what we needed. More foliage. Typically with video game trees, engines will apply LOD so that foliage textures get lower resolution the further away they are. You've probably seen something similar in video games. 2D trees fading into 3D or like blocky leaves popping into more dense resolution. This happened all the time in Oblivion Remastered.
Oh, yeah. Billboarded trees that are just like 2D standouts that suddenly like fade into a 3D tree. Yep. The new method, which looks pretty cool, actually reduces whole blocks of foliage into a voxel. So just like a cloud of 3D pixels, blocks basically. It scales and all those voxels are still rendered by environmental lighting. So when you have a bunch of trees that are really far away, that are only taking up 2 or 3 pixels on your display, they're actually just 2 or 3 pixels in the distance, but they're still being lit properly, so you get sun cascading over mountainsides and everything looks great.
Oh, that's awesome. Ciri bumps into a guy holding a crate of apples, some of which spill out, roll down a slope.
Yay! Dude, that one thing... Okay, so there's 2 things that are the most tech demo thing in the world. The first of which is the main character constantly reaching out and touching things. Inverse kinematics. It's in every tech demo. It's in this one at the start. Ciri's like putting her hand on every rock as she's going through this cave. Whatever. But yeah, incidental animations like that where you bump into an NPC and then physics happens. Oh man. I saw that and I was like, video games. They're so bad.
The demo also demonstrates considerable NPC density. This is the kind of stuff I'm excited about. Rendering a crowd of over 300 NPCs while maintaining that 60 FPS frame rate on a base PS5.
Yeah, should make for some interesting city scenes. You're walking through crowds and stuff like that. Almost a little Assassin's Creed-y, you know? That was all about crowds and stuff like that. Apart from that, that's kind of the round off of the tech, but we also got some creative information out of this. There's a brief interaction with Ciri and a Witcher contractor that reveals some interesting character notes.
Yeah, Ciri flips the aforementioned coin to the trader, playfully prodding at him about his destroyed salt shipment actually being a smuggling operation. So Ciri taking on Geralt's, he would always prod at those people and be like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny you're having problems, huh? She's a little more snarky about it, a little more emotive, I think.
Yeah.
A little more playful. Like she's kind of toying with him at the beginning, whereas Geralt is just kind of grumpy and is just like, you were doing a bad thing. So it's an interesting difference in character. For sure.
CD Projekt announced the switch to Unreal Engine 3 years ago. I remember this in March 2022. At the time, they described it as more of a partnership than CD Projekt simply licensing the engine, but now we see the results.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I kind of caught on the wording back then because it sounded like they made it sound like it was more involved than just we're buying the engine. The press release, this is back in 2022, said that, quote, developers from CD Projekt Red will collaborate with those from Epic, with the primary goal being to help tailor the engine for open world experiences, beginning with the development of the next game in the Witcher franchise. So, yeah, Bruce, like you said, we're seeing the fruits of that partnership now. I had hoped that, based on the Red engine, it's clear that there are a lot of people at CD Projekt that are really good at math. So I thought it was a bit sad that they were just stepping away from their own engine. But I think what we're seeing now is the integration of that talent into Unreal Engine, and the results are pretty incredible.
They are, but I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it out loud right now for everybody. So when Witcher 4 comes in 5 years or whatever, everybody's like, I don't understand. Why doesn't this game run well? Because it's Unreal Engine 5, number one. Unreal Engine 5 is like, it's beautiful, and it really is very, very powerful. It's the most powerful engine out there, but there are lots of video games that have lots of problems with this engine. And one thing that CD Projekt, I can always bank on CD Projekt being overambitious. They really like to make huge games that do everything, and I'm very excited. Like you guys know me, I'm gonna love playing the game when it releases, bugs and all. I love all that stuff. I think it's so much fun. But remember, this is a company that released Cyberpunk, and everybody hated it. So we'll probably have the same problems with Witcher 4, so just dial back those expectations a little bit. It's going to be buggy. It's going to be broken, probably for the first, let's say 3 to 6 months or so. But it should be fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a proper expectation to set. People had unrealistic expectations for Cyberpunk, is I think the diplomatic way to say it. But yes, both Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk didn't launch in the best state, but CD Projekt, I think, with both of those games has demonstrated that, even if the launch isn't ideal, they don't just walk away from a game. Speaking of not walking away, Bruce, it's time for a new segment in which we acknowledge that Inside Games is always right. That's right.
Literally always. So yesterday's story, when we reported on Activision putting ads in Call of Duty, obviously this is a very unpopular story with a lot of people, and we said in that story, this is probably a test, because this is what companies like to do. They like to test, and then they'll be like, whoops, never mind. And we said that yesterday, and what do you know, Lawrence?
Like word for word almost, a post on the Call of Duty updates account on X claimed that the ads were pushed in error. Whoops. Intern slipped and hit the insert ads button. The feature's now been removed, though. So yes, they were very clearly nudging the boundaries. They got a little pushback and they decided to roll it back. So yeah, what worries me is every time you do this, it normalizes it even more, even if people still get mad. So thank you for getting mad and trying to hold the line here. But the erosion feels inevitable.
Yeah, and it also sucks too, because like a lot of the times I say on this program that, like voting with your wallet's the way to do it. Complaining on the internet's not going to fix anything. However, with these sorts of things that we might think are little tests, this actually does work. It's like when everybody changed Sonic's appearance when they all complained about Sonic. So it's like, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen occasionally. And I guess if nobody had reported on this, like if we hadn't reported on this or other blogs hadn't reported on this and you guys hadn't, put a bunch of negative comments about Call of Duty, maybe, I don't even know if they were getting review bombed on Steam, then they may not have changed it. They may have just let the ads in and been like, well, everybody's fine with it. So I guess it's good that we did that regardless.
Yeah, companies care about sentiment, but they care about money more. But they still care a little bit. I think the thing to reinforce, because sometimes I think the distinction gets lost. Negativity is not outlawed on the internet, okay? You're allowed to be mad at something. You're allowed to say this sucks. Where a line gets crossed is when it trends over into harassment or just like, weird hate campaigns. Those happen too. They're distinct from simply standing up and bravely saying this sucks ass. So if you don't like something, feel free to express yourself on the internet, but there's a way to do it that is, civilized and there's just a way to comport yourself without relying on childish insults or directly attacking human beings.
That's a fantastic point. And something I see in our comments, not often, but I do see occasional people start calling us stupid and calling us names, and then they're shadow banned. So it's one of those things where like you are more than welcome to say that, whatever, our opinion is wrong, or you don't like what our opinion says. But once you start calling us names, then we're never going to see you again. So just be careful out there. And that goes for everything, right? When you're having an argument with your friends or your family or whatever, and you're talking about your opinions, these are opinions. Generally speaking, not everybody's right, not everybody's wrong. There might be some factual errors on both sides, or who knows. But don't start calling each other names. Don't do that.
Right. It's all video games. We're just here to have fun. Look at that. A little life lesson on today's Inside Games. I love it. And here's another one. Free games are great. Inside Games is on your side. I wanted to call this out. The game Hellslave is now free on Steam to commemorate the sequel's release. It's got a lot of positive reviews. Looks real cool.
I don't even know what Hellslave is. I haven't even looked at it. It's free? I gotta get it.
Yeah, there's loads of games out there. So yeah, I've been trying to keep a finger on the pulse for the sake of our audience. There you go.
Well, I mean, we are on your side. And also, we'd like to thank a few patrons that support our Inside Games Patreon every single month. Monkey Butlers and Bakubom, thank you for tossing some coins to your tubers.
Like imagining just throwing a fistful of quarters at a pile of potatoes.